scanned, put it on computers so it can be preserved, but also so it's like a movable filing cabinet, or as I like to call it, a digital filing cabinet. You can put all that on a thumb drive or a external drive and walk around with it in your pocket. So that's what I've been doing for the last few years, is trying to get this stuff scanned. We've scanned from pre-47 up to 1965, and from August 67 to 1970. So you can see 66, a good part of 67 needs to be done, plus a lot of things after 1970. Now, we've also scanned material in the other eras that haven't, but we haven't finished scanning. It's just, like sometimes you could come across files, and a lot of my files are just piles. So when I start scanning, I may scan 73, the item from 73, and then an item from 52, and an item from 47. So it just becomes like that. So this is kind of a priority. We want to get this done. So we have a huge collection of UFO material that will be available to people in not only in the United States but all over the world. When you have this much material, then you can start doing things with it that might be hard to do with just small studies. When you have this huge collection of things, probably close to 100,000 cases. So, one other thing I want to do is just before lights out, I want to tie everything together on my website with a sort of a historical outline. So I'd say that's what I do.
And what will happen to your website called Project1947.com, isn't it?
I've already made arrangements for somebody to carry that on after I'm gone.
Okay, that's good. Now, as far as being a historian at ACE, we have various people that volunteer for many groups. And a lot of social media now, of course, we are all slave to the Internet now, cyberspace junkies or people living inside the matrix and sharing our parts on, various places like mainly Facebook and YouTube are the big ones right now. Of course, a lot of us that are entrepreneurs use LinkedIn, and some of the younger kids do TikTok, but Instagram, places like that. But, Janet came back again, so I'll have to let her introduce. But we'll get into a conversation of what all we're doing, Jan, and talk about Dave McDonald coming back on. I'm sorry that we got off to a rough start. Janet Lessin. Okay, Jan's here, so I want you to introduce yourself to everybody and let everybody know you're here from Hawaii, and you've been helping us for 8 years do archived radio shows. And Jan Aldrich is here sharing his many, many years. So between all of us, I know we've got a minimum of 100 years. My 50, his 60. And you'll soon be 18, won't you, Janet, 18 years old?
No, I'm 66. Yeah. No, I'm sorry I got booted, and I don't know. Then I got 3 calls in a row, so it was interesting.
Okay.
I booted, then my phone lit up. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm back. So I'm Janet Lessin. I've been on a couple hundred shows with TJ, so we know each other very well, and we're just UFO investigators, reporters, experiencers, all the above. So what's today's show about, TJ? You were talking about Jan Aldrich stepped down as MUFON director, and what's his name? David McDonald has come into his replacement. Wasn't David McDonald there before?
Yeah, he was
the emeritus role.
Yeah, we can talk about all of that. Jan Aldrich is still a director with us with UFO Association and Ace Folklife Historical Association. It was Jan Harzan that stepped down, and immediately interim is Dave McDonald. Now, he lived in Kentucky when I did, as far as I know. He still does, and we had the MUFON office right around the Cincinnati, Ohio location, and he and I talked, and we were revitalizing the investigator handbook at the time, and that's when Kathy Martin came in and helped with experiencers. So Jan Aldrich is here with us now. So Jan Harzan, this is all happening in 2020, folks. Everything's been turned upside down. But Dave is the interim, I guess. But he was a director. He still is a director. And everybody can go to MUFON.com and look up all the directors. There's 5 or 6 of them. We probably know all of them. But Jan, you want to talk about that? I think you said Jan Aldrich stepped down, didn't you? Or was it my ears? Did you hear that, Jan?
I don't know. Too many Jans.
Too many Jans.
That's right.
Too many Jans.
Yeah.
So Jan Harzan stepped down because of some kind of something going on which happened to other people in ufology. And so we don't know how it's going to pan out for him. Hopefully he's innocent. But this happened. We had, in each generation, we've had some kind of accusation of inappropriate sexuality coming from people in the MUFON or in the ufology field. So what do you think that's about? Is that true, or it's just a witch hunt for people in ufology? Do you have any ideas? Either of you?
Jan said he believes people are innocent until proven guilty. So let's let Jan speak for himself, because he does know we were going to follow off with that lead. Harzan out, McDonald in again. And I haven't talked to Dave McDonald, honestly, to get his statement yet, but I'll do my best. His phones are ringing, I'm sure, like when he stepped in before. When we started back years ago, 2007, 2008, that era. But Jan, why don't you speak for yourself?
Let me just say one thing before we go to Jan Aldrich. I was at the IUFO Congress when, what was that guy's name that he was the UFO abductee experiencer? He wrote a couple books, and his wife wrote a book. He was real popular. Come on, name that tune.
Which one?
Anyway.
Corey Good?
It was an R. No, those
Emery Smith?
They didn't get accused. No, they didn't get accused. Don't accuse him. No. Race. Let me think of his name. Start with he went to jail for a while.
Oh, you're talking about real MUFON people. Yeah, his wife is still a friend.
People. No,
it's the one that had the little alien movie out at his window. Jan will know.
Yes,
Jan Aldrich.
Yes. So
Jan, help us out here.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay, anyway, there was some guy there. I'll find it.
All right, well, his wife's in our social media.
I'll figure out who it was.
Well, yeah, Jan, look in our Facebook groups, Jan. She's one of our friends in our groups. We have so many of them, Jan Aldrich. But, folks, this is Jan Aldrich. We've had Jan Harzan on here, but he's not on here right now. So I did put a call into Jan, but I don't know if he's getting his calls or if someone else has his phone. But he is on a friend of mine in my phone. So, Jan, have you talked to Jan? I know he sends you stuff in the mail and everything. Have you talked to Jan today, Jan Harzan?
No, I have not talked to him. I haven't talked to him since last year, I don't think. We're trying to do something with AJ A.J. Gravard, and so we were, having a three-way conversation. So I haven't really talked to him since then. The main place that I met him and talked to him was at the Orlando conference, which is now quite a few years back. And we talked about how UFOs can be studied. There was a lot of that going on at the conference right there. I haven't had any recent contact with him.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about that. Let me get Suzanne on here. Suzanne, you showed up early, but I want you to introduce yourself as not a Jan. But we have Jan Aldrich, Janet Lessin, Janet Thurmond Morris, and a Suzanne Wyman tonight. Okay, Suzanne, Go ahead and say hi to Janet and Jan Aldrich, if you don't mind.
Hi, Jan. Nice to meet you.
Hello.
And hi, Janet. So very nice to be included, and thank you for bringing me in. I'm sorry I'm late today.
Oh, no, that's great. You perfect timing. Now, we're just getting started, actually. We had a late start, and I hope that's okay with everybody. It was a little hard on the front, but I'll go ahead and list your name on the top here with us so everybody gets credit for today. It's like school. Everybody likes to see their name when they're putting in their archives. So we're just getting started, Suzanne, with the history of how all these UFO groups, and we have quite a few of them, and members in a lot of our social media groups in LinkedIn and Facebook, and I've got different directors that will be coming on our shows, and Janet and I have both interviewed a lot of MUFON people over the past few years on our radio shows. But we were just asking Jan his opinion. Now, Jan Harzan, we're going to let him talk for a minute, Suzanne, and then we'll try to include you. But Janet asked an important question because we've had Jan Harzan step down, and we've had our old Dave McDonald, we call him Captain, come back in again. I'm going to read his bio here, if everybody will just stand by for one moment. Dave McDonald is the new director of MUFON, Mutual UFO Network, folks, so we call it MUFON for short. And Dave is David, but we call him Dave McDonald, and most of his friends call him Captain or Cap. David started his entrepreneurial career at about the age of 8, shining shoes in bars and streets of his hometown. At about 10 or 11, he was he read Project Blue Book and many other early flying saucer books. So his adult career started at a laboratory working on the development team that produced such products as Behold Furniture Polish, Windex, and Indust. However, being an entrepreneur by nature, he went on to establish a number of businesses, among which was the McDonald Defense Company, which became the largest independent security firm in the region. Additionally, he owned a manufacturing firm and produced an array of wireless microphones, listening devices, and other clandestine, depending on how you say it, gizmos, secret stuff. So he owned a bookstore and a photo studio, specializing in model portfolios in underwater photography. So he served 8 years as a county peace officer in Kentucky, and in 1991, Dave founded Flamingo Air and has developed into a full-time air carrier operation. Now, he and his wife, Sharon, who's helped run MUFON for years, Sharon McGee, has further developed Flamingo Air Academy, which is now global in scope and Cincinnati's premier flight and airline dispatch school. Now, Dave resides with his wife, Sharon, at their home in northern Kentucky. And then I've got to join UFO Association, ACO Club, sharing among friends who attend our various events. We have ACO and ACE Folklife serving with our ACO UFO ET Club, and we all do shows open source public relations work, and we volunteer to help. And Dave knows that from years and years ago. And so we're just back doing how we